playing with a girl, so I can be less badmouth and hopefully make some friends. But this is great. This is a great sample size right here. It's 100% girls this tournament. It is solo queue sisters, and it's following the same format that we've always followed in our solo queue hero situation, where we have a sort of system where we have all of these different players come together as one, each from their different elos, from their respective brackets. We got bronze players, diamond players, masters players, all the way around Toronto. Some people from Oshawa. They all come together in Invictus Game Stations, where we're at right now in North Toronto, and we try and even out the teams, make things as close as they can be, and throw them in a pot and see who's going to come out on top. And like I said, the only difference this time is that it's all females.
That was very succinct. I don't know what word I'm looking for. Well put.
Succinct is good.
Well put.
I'll take it. Let's make sure we don't have music blast on us halfway through the game.
Oh yeah.
So we are jumping into picks and pins right now. The game is getting underway. We do have Jupiter taking on Mars. I do love these team names as well. Our Overlord Tony did a fantastic job. I believe it's probably based off that Sailor Moon thing, which is another pretty badass all-female roster. Definitely digging it. So here we go, jumping in right away. We've got Talon, Shyvana, and Fizzband out from the blue side, and on the other side, Swain, Zara, and Lucian. Don't forget, this is the updated Mage patch. We've got Vlad.
We're on 6-11 now.
6-11.
So we've had the updated mages, and we've had our first, possibly second round of adjustments.
Yeah.
I believe 2 rounds of adjustments so far.
There's a lot of explosive meta picks, I'd say, that are yet to be explored in the mainstream League of Legends scene. So things like LCS and LCK, they really haven't been explored that much. It's not completely expected to see, something like a Swain. Sometimes it is a little bit under the radar. Of course, he is very strong right now. So is Vlad. All those picks are very strong. But who knows what we're going to pick out here, because it is a solo queue style tournament. So you see things like the Leona, you see things like the Cho'Gath and the Malphite. It's all about which teams have the best leaders, the best understanding of how they want to play the game. And if one person can kind of step up to the plate and put their team on the right direction, then you have the makings of a good team.
That you do. And at least what we're seeing now is just a ridiculous amount of CC and map mobility, assuming that they'll grab a TP for the mid lane for Jupiter on the blue side.
Alright, so taking a look at the ideas of these comps here. Obviously, you've got a lot of dive coming over the red team. That is Mars. They don't have a lot of protection for the Caitlyn, but there's not really anything that's going to be diving at her apart from the Amumu. So if she's able to keep herself far enough back from the Amumu, and the Cho'Gath is able to keep an eye on that Annie, then really they don't have a lot they can get back to her. They don't have something like, a Renekton or a Jarvan or anything like that. So Caitlyn's going to be able to pump out a lot of damage, and nobody on their team has a lot of range. Caitlyn, compared to Sivir, that's 200 yards range. You've got the Annie, who, like I said, if you put Cho'Gath on her, if Cho'Gath is good with the silences, he can prevent her silences, excuse me. He can prevent those flash engages with the Tivers. There's not a whole lot that's going to be stopped by Braum as well here, so I really like the draft coming out from the red side team. Very aggressive. Red outfitting is Mars as well.
I actually don't mind the draft coming out of blue side either, with the sort of the team fight potential that comes from an Annie and a Mumu, along with the Braum for the Peel and the Sivir. Sivir's late game is ridiculous. Nass is providing a little bit of split push pressure, if that is what they want. And Annie flash Tibbers. Annie was one of those champions that was changed in the Mage patch.
Yep.
Tibbers is now ridiculously powerful.
Yeah.
Smacks people to death.
Yeah, he's
all the time. It's about the AoE stun and the damage that Tibbers is gonna do, not the damage the spell actually does.
He's still worth the 50 gold though, and that's
true.
That's what all matters to me. He's just an extra minion to add to my CS count. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but when it's like fighting a super minion when you're level 3. 6.
You just gotta try hard and believe in yourself. So yeah, let's break down a little bit about this tournament. Of course, we've been doing solo queue hero games for quite a while now. solo queue hero tournaments rather for quite a while. I think it's been about 3 years since about season 2. We started adjusting these brackets and trying to figure out the best way to organize all of these teams together. And we finally, I think, hit a stride. We think we finally hit the perfect formulae to make sure everything comes together. And this is the first time we've actually done an all-female solo queue hero tournament. It's been a lot of the girls from the Land War came together, put together this incentive, and it's also the first time we're at the Invictus Gaming Lounge. So a very open and warm and friendly environment for everybody to come down. And I do see you guys in chat saying, where are the female casters? They will be here later. We're going to pick up those that are eliminated throughout the day. And, of course, nobody has been eliminated yet.
I see that smirk. See your cheeky little smile.
Well, I mean, you can pick the eliminated people or the people who win. You know what I mean? Generally, you want the people who are win because they're more interesting. Because winners, to me, at least, are more interesting.
I mean, also they're happier.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
That's true. You're pretty content with losing.
Yeah. Well, that's why
you got to be when you're in a position.
I
like
was going to say
yourself,
something
my friend.
about you being a loser and me, liking winners more. But yeah. All right. So. While I recover from my wounds here, let's take another stop. We've got a minute left to go. Where are you going to put your cards? Where are you thinking who's going to come out on top here?
I like Jupiter, I think, over Mars just a little bit, just because I think the power of the Braum pick is
nothing to do with the lunar cycles or anything like that?
Nothing to do with the lunar cycles,
okay.
which is, yeah. And if you know me at all, you know that all I care about is lunar cycles. Basically, it's all I talk about 100% of the time.
Do you remember the Sailor Moon intro theme?
Vaguely. I remember. I don't remember.
Do you mind breaking it down for me? Can you do a rendition, a recreation here?
I don't think I could. I genuinely don't think I could.
Or
I remember it being
who's the tuxedo
amazing.
mask of this tournament? That's the real question. Is it Tony? Tony, if you're out there, you tuxedo mask.
The tuxedo. I guess it could be Tony. I feel like many people could.
That wasn't
could
very
fit
confident.
That role.
It could be Tony. I mean, guess. I feel like
Tony doesn't like having titles. Tony likes to be called Tony, and if we call him something that isn't Tony, he gets very upset with us.
Yeah, he's a kindred soul.
God bless that man.
All right, so here we go. We're jumping in to the game. It should be any second now that we finally see the first all-female solo queue tournament here in Toronto. We are at Invictus Game Station. It is Jupiter taking on Mars. My name is Muskie. I am joined by Crepe.
Yeah,
and we are about to pop off and see some all-female League of Legends SmackDown action.
I'm looking forward to this, mostly because there's a Diana in the game, and I think Diana is
Yo, I'm a huge Amumu fan.
A big Amumu fan?
Yeah,
huge. I would have thought you were as well. I would have expected that, I'll be honest.
I play AP Amumu, though. That's the only
Of course
difference.
you do. The Grenade Amumu.
Grenade Amumu? What the hell is that? Oh, yeah.
It's full AP Amumu that he goes in and he catches a grenade for you.
Yeah.
He is a grenade for you. I don't know.
I love full AP Amumu. It's kind of an homage to Dan Din back in the day.
All right.
He was MVP. I love Dan Din, dude. He was a great. He'd go death cap on his jungle Amumu. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, naturally.
So
what else are you supposed to build? What would you build on jungle Amumu?
I build double magic pen, so magic pen boots, and I build haunting guys, and I build into Zonias and Rylai's, and then
Zonias and Rylai's. You don't like Abyssal Scepter?
Well, yeah, more magic pen if I can. Depends on their team comp.
I suppose.
At the end of the day, as long as you one-shot the AD carry, that's what really
I want to
matters.
real quick touch on this Cho'Gath.
Yep.
Despite the peel that Cho'Gath can potentially provide for this Caitlyn, it's very telegraphed, very easy to avoid.
They say the desert is cruel stress.
Minions
I like the sound.
That could be problematic.
It could be.
Ever so slightly.
Mm-hmm.
However, if the Cho'Gath gets ahead and then, builds a little AP and then has his point and click, has her point and click 600 true damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's not really any counterplay to that.
Yeah.
Except for walking away.
Take a look at the top lane matchup, though.
Malphite versus Nasus. That's
yeah.
pretty pretty fun.
Malphite not going to be able to do anything to the Nasus, so I think there is a little bit of a timer on this game, unless they are able to handle that split push, which, I think this Nasus, I'm going to call it now, I think we're going to see some, 30-minute tower dives from this Nasus. I've got a feeling.
As in, Nasus will get tower dove
by
30 minutes, or
Nasus
he
will be
do
tower diving a Cho'Gath at 30 minutes.
Tower diving a Cho'Gath?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
put money on that right
So
now.
you're going to say the top laner is going to tower dive the jungler
Yeah.
by 30 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I think Cho'Gath is going to wind up
Interesting.
holding, a lane, and the Cho'Gath is going to get dove.
But so you think that Nasus is going to
Pop up,
win
yes.
this game?
Yes.
Or win this lane, rather?
She is going to go handbowing.
Okay. I would like to see that. We don't see much Nasus anymore, unfortunately. Because Nasus is fun. Very intuitive game design. So far, she's doing all right for herself.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, this is going to be some good stuff. Because it's really an easy champion to CS on too. So it's not like, even if you're a poor CSer or you're feeling the pressure or anything like that, really, as long as you get enough CDR, your Q is going to pretty much one-shot a minion. You can't mess it up. You just got to be smart with it.
Is that Nasus your top lane
I
go-to
love
pick?
playing Nasus. The only thing is, if you don't have proper communication with your team, you can really fall into a quick problem with split pushing. For example, if you're bringing 4 people top and your team's not aware and not, being proactive on the map before that actually happens, even reacting to it can sometimes be not enough.
I was just going to say, Nasus provides much less of a team fight impact than the Malphite does. And it's probably going to be split pushing the entire game. But regardless, once you get that super ridiculously stacked, you just split pushing all game is not going to necessarily help you if your team is losing the 5v4s. So having the communication to get the teleports in.
I really like the way that this bottom lane is playing from the side of Sivir and Braum. I mean, one of the strengths of Sivir, obviously, is her ability to push. And that's one of the strengths of Caitlyn as well. But you can see just they got, their momentum down so well that they're pretty much making this bottom lane about forcing the waves instead of trading.
It's also not a particularly synergistic bottom lane from Mars. Caitlyn and Leona kind of have different plans. Or Caitlyn kind of just wants to shoot you every now and again from distance, whereas Leona, if she goes in, she's going in real tough.
It's really hard to get all of the procs from the Leona damage off as well from the Caitlyn, but we'll take that in a second because here comes Female Jesus. But
spicy Amumu gank.
Oh, she might still go for it. Still, there it is. There is the stun. The shield comes out. There's no counter gank, so just a little bit cheekiness from Elderward Bard, and it will be punished a little bit. However, Amumu has revealed herself on the map, and that gives the other team a little bit of breathing room. They know where they can, go look for some deep wards or at least play a little bit more aggressive. And when you're in this communication, you're always talking about where the jungler is, when you can start playing more aggressive, what you should be looking out for, timings, when they're hitting 6, or if their red buff just ended, all these little things. So, for example, you can now see that Diana push up now that she knows Mumu has wandered towards the bottom side. All she needs to do is hug towards that top side of the map, and she can start pushing that lane very hard.
Nasus is really beating up on this Malphite. It's unfortunate. That hurts.
Yeah, Malphite needs to get a few items before he's going to be able to even deal with this Nasus. He can't out-damage the passive of Nasus, which is the lifesteal. And then she's probably running, at least a little bit of health regen or something like that in her mastery.
Well, there's
so
also Grasp of the Undying.
Yeah,
that helps.
it's pretty damn hard to push a Nasus out of lane as a Malphite. Cho'Gath does really well against the Nasus, but yeah.
That's the jungler, unfortunately. Yeah. How do you feel? Because when you were a jungle main once upon a time, maybe still are.
Yep.
How do you feel about 100 Potion?
I love it, but
yeah?
you don't need it on Cho'Gath. That's the thing.
Cho'Gath's passive kind of makes that.
Yeah, it's definitely really good.
Completely unnecessary.
Even at the idea of just not preventing you from spending money on potions is really good, because sometimes as a jungler, you can feel like if you fall behind, you will start to sink a lot of money into potions so that you can try and keep up, and to have something that's really cost effective like that just to keep you involved in the game and not needing to recall and falling more and more behind your jungle, not only in experience but also in gold. It's really helpful to have an item like that.
I would agree. I would have to agree. My jungle is my desired off role, but I don't get to play in mid lane. And I generally like it on champions like Kha'Zix or something. It was a late shield.
Yeah. Looked kind of like there was a gank coming, so you might see the red side back out a little bit. Speaking of the red side jungler, Elderward Bard is looking to get a little bit of support to continue to pressure this lane, coming up on a 15 CS lead here.
Stinger did just get nerfed, so it's much less of a hard power spike for Diana. Stinger used to be extremely cost effective for just a component item. Now with 15% less attack speed.
Yeah,
Up
but
100 less gold, so
the
that
thing
helps,
is, she's pretty much attacking that lane non-stop, right?
Yeah.
Just right-clicking it.
she's
So.
just been hard pushing, and a Mumu with not a whole lot of gank pressure in the early game, pre-6 at least. Just because, you know, hide behind a minion and you can't get CC'd.
Not a single summoner blown right now. It looks like it's going to be probably waiting until level 6 here. Nobody wants to play too aggressive.
I'd just like to point out Cho'Gath's Smite is on cooldown right now, so you're not technically correct.
That's true. Good point. See, this is why you're...
It's about the small things.
This is why you're
this is why
the Polycaster and I'm the play-by-play. You notice the intricacies.
Toronto's premier caster is at it again.
I'm focused on the big picture stuff. Yeah, so taking a look at these builds, I wouldn't be surprised if we see 80 carries go for Cull, just based on the way that this game is going.
I don't expect them to, though. I don't see... You see Cull much less the lower down you get in Elo. Like, I have never seen a Cull in my games, for example, and I'm Silver 4. Basically Challenger, so it's fine. You know, you'll watch... you know, your average stream, like you know, friend of the stream, Zote. There's calls in his game all the time. High diamond, low master.
The only ward that we've seen recently deep has been on that Cho'Gath. So the blue team, they're feeling okay.
Blue team did a really good job actually in the early game of getting that, getting a ward line through the topside jungle, through the topside river into the topside jungle, the red side jungle for red side.
Oh.
Getting the gank. Ooh, clean a Mumu.
Not over yet, though. They could have potentially gone for the flash ulti, yeah. But Malphite, you know...
Malphite's pretty tanky and still has unstoppable force.
Yeah, he was very close to not having enough mana, so it was a tough call. But I think, you know, at the end of the day, saving your abilities. You got the flash, that's what you came for. And... yeah, swords picked up for the 80 carries. Sightstones picked up. I'd like to see a lot more wards come out right now because, you know, a lot hasn't been seen by the junglers, but now that both supports do have their Sightstones, now we can start seeing a little bit more of that deep vision, maybe tracking the enemy jungler a little bit better. And we will maybe be able to find a little bit more aggression in these games because right now it's going very slow, and if it does continue to go very slow, the only... you know, the lanes that are winning are going to continue winning, and the lanes that are losing are going to get way, way behind. Because you can see, look, that 15 CS lead has grown to a 30 CS lead now in mid lane, and same thing in the top lane. So it's a lot of, you know, kind of on the backs of these two solo laners here.
Nasus going to be very jumpy with her shields. Yeah. Kind of like going in as her instinctual combo. Instead of waiting for it to actually block an ability, just kind of throws it out there.
Ooh, using the stun like that to wave clear might mean there's going to be a dive. There it is. She does get the Q. She's looking for it. Unfortunately, the jungler isn't around, so it's going to be a missed attempt in the bottom lane as well. And that means that Diana can continue to play aggressive. Once again, Mumu showing himself, but Mumu is going on a direct path to that mid lane. And no wards on the bottom side. The ping comes out. Great work from the awareness of this Mars team, but it might be too little too late.
Diana's not backing up.
She should be okay, simply because that Annie's so damn low.
Yeah, Annie, if she tries to get the counter engage, is probably just going to get one-shot by the Diana anyway. And which is one of the issues with getting shoved in like that. You need to tank a lot of minion damage. Just to make sure you don't lose that many minions. Yeah, surprisingly low amount of damage on these towers. I thought that bottom lane might have a little bit more damage, but I guess Sivir not really pushing up that far. The Caitlyn able to punish off that tower is, you know, just going to keep this lane phase going forever. This is going to be like a 20-minute lane phase unless something drastic happens. And there's a repeat gank on the top lane. There comes the MR Shred. The ultimate is up for Amumu, but he doesn't have the mana to use it. Here comes the knock-up and the follow-up from Diana. Annie shows up really late, does make it 1-for-1. And at the end of the day, you know, 1-for-1. Amumu has his ulti still, he has his flash still. So he has the opportunity to make plays around the map still. And a kill on a Nasus. There we go. That was I mean, interesting. That was like we were talking before about the necessity of communication. I mean, losing the trade down the bottom lane.
Yep, big aggressive play.
Aggressive all in.
Ult trending from both sides. The exhaust comes out onto the Sivir, and look at that, a clean 2v2 coming out from Mars.
And that was a play initiated by Sivir and Braum.
Yep.
They could have disengaged, but then Braum was like,
They're
we got
feeling
this,
themselves.
all
Yeah,
in
they're
it, and
getting
then
hypey. They were listening to
Sivir
maybe
got
some
one shot.
Beyonce or something like that. They
And if
started
they had waited
popping off
10 more seconds, they'd have been fine. They got Sivir ulti.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, Caitlyn and Leona, we said that they didn't synergize very well, but the re-engage was very strong coming out from that duo. And for a pick that is going to be playing, you know, around that team fight later on in the game, they've definitely held on in lane bottom. And
Yeah, bottom lane's gone relatively even, but if you look at the solo lanes, meanwhile, Diana, ooh, spicy dive.
yeah, it's pretty much, I feel like it's going to come down to a Diana versus Nasus, and maybe the Moo Moo. Here we go. He finds it. There's the ulti.
There it is.
Uses it.
Oh, that was a preemptive eat, I would say.
Is preemptive eat an 8? Preemptive eat an 8.
I feel like you're trying to make a joke that is just completely whiffing at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend you didn't say that and talk more about the fact that Diana had a huge lead of like 40 CS, but it was sort of mitigated by the fact that Nasus has her own 40 CS lead.
Kind of finding this curious as to why they're starting this Dragon. They did have the wave push in middle from the Sivir, and the team will be able to collapse. Malphite does have TP on the other side. This could be a team fight if we see a TP coming up from Malphite.
Amumu needs to back
Diana's
away.
not there yet. Annie is. This should be an engage. They've even got the ward behind. I don't understand why the TP is not coming out.
That could have been a very good opportunity for a TP flank from the Malphite, but I guess
either of the top laners would have been great.
well, blue team couldn't really afford to initiate on that. Amumu was out of mana and out of HP almost.
That's the thing. The Amumu was the one that started the draw.
Yeah, kind of just walked in. I'll smite you. Smited someone.
Is
like,
an early smite a smote?
Early smite a smote?
Yeah.
No,
We'll
it's
just
a
forget that one
smite.
again.
Meanwhile, okay.
Saruna actually coming back with a counterplay here. Does find the 1-for-1. That's the
one for
Timbers
one.
you were
That was
talking
a
about.
big misplay by Diana. Getting very greedy, not keeping an eye on those stun stacks. Takes 3 tower shots, I think I saw on that.
I think Amumu is pretty happy with that because it means he gets to take the blue now. She gets to take that blue.
Yeah, Amumu does love getting himself a blue buff. And plus there's a lot of
Satiate
ages in the
those
mid
tiers.
lane, so.
Yep.
But the CS lead is just growing. It's like, 12 CS for Diana becomes 4 for Annie.
Yep.
That's not a great ratio.
You know, at the end of the day, everything that's going on here isn't that significant other than the fact that Diana's strong, Nasus is strong, and the bottom lane is strong for both teams.
Yeah, both bottom lanes are strong.
Yeah. When it comes down to junglers, both junglers are going to be about the same effectiveness. The Cho'Gath will be overtime CC in the team fight. The Amumu will be really just about womboing with the Annie and maybe the Braum. It's going to come down to largely, either Diana fighting Nasus, which I think is a terrible idea.
I mean, Diana's the only person who can really match this with push pressure that
Yeah,
Nasus is
I think it
putting
might
down.
be, kind of mirrored sides of the map if they're going to go like that. But when it comes down to it, if it goes into the late game, I feel like the blue team will really start to outscale the side of Mars.
Yeah, I completely
Simply
agree.
because they've got the Amumu who comes into the late game. And
Yeah, the
just
Nasus, the
becomes-
Amumu, and also
yeah.
the Sivir, because sure,
Yeah.
Caitlyn's going to be way in the back, but they have
give time
4
for
other
Annie to
melee
catch
champions.
up.
You get 1 crit on the front line, it bounces to the back line. Oh look, there's
Yeah.
Caitlyn at half HP.
Diana falls off big time, so they're going to need to find a way to get this game in their control.
If Diana can find a way to get into the back line and one-shot one of the carries, then they might have an opportunity to keep this snowball going, or get a snowball going. But it's going to be tough.
Yeah, Alpha starting to chunk. Let's see how many stacks she's got on her queue. Oh, we'll take a look at that later because right now it's Female Jesus actually doing a lot of damage to Elderwood Barrage.
Reload's
Picks
down
up that
though.
Dragon. Ultimates has quite a bit of, you know, the Magic Pen topped with his passive, and that's going to be an easy free kill onto Eldward Bard, and here comes the TP from Nasus. That's going to be a free dragon.
It's just a late response from red side bottom lane. Should have had the communication skills to say, hey guys, they're collapsing on me. Come help me out. Leona still has all summoners and her ult up. Could have possibly saved Diana's life, if not, at least extended it with a little bit more damage off.
I love this rotation coming out from the bottom side of the blue team. They go deep. The flash comes out from the Nasus. There is a great follow-up Bardal too, or Bromwell to top it up, and the stun might come out onto Nador here. Malphite's trying to find some response, but with no damage followed up, it looks like that's going to be it. And all the meanwhile, Annie getting herself back into the game in mid as well, bringing herself up to 100 CS here, maybe trying to put some pressure onto that tower. And that's such a big factor in these games, getting those early towers, because that's when you start to open up the map. That's when the support can really start to carry. They can start getting that vision out, maybe starting to track the other team a little bit more efficiently and control their team in a way of preventing and minimizing the amount of mistakes that can come out from them.
I'd really like to see a lane swap in one of the games today. I feel like we don't see lane swaps enough. Lane swaps are fun.
Yeah, no, that was definitely something that when I used to play these solo queue tournaments is something I would love to try and do, because chaos is fun to play in. You know what I mean? On your team and on the other team, if you can make the other team start to panic or not know what to do, you can really take advantage of a lane swap situation if you've got a good understanding of the do's and don'ts.
This tower is super low. Diana's going to get it easy peasy. And it isn't far off from her Abyssal Scepter as well.
That's really big. This is what I was talking about. Getting this mid tower now allows that Leona to start pushing up, and they can start setting up picks, which is exactly what Eldward Bard wants to start to do. She's on that assassin. Think of it like a LeBlanc. You want to set up those picks. You want to start finding those picks in the opposing team's jungle. You want to set up, make them face check a bush, force objectives by denying vision, and just take advantage of the fact that you have that assassin, as opposed to something like an Annie, which is a lot less mobile.
Caitlyn is in her typical Caitlyn power trap where you have an item and a half and you don't really know what you're supposed to do, so you just kind of sit and farm. Ideally, you'd be chucking that Caitlyn in the mid lane and sending the Diana bot lane to split push.
Yep, I totally agree.
But same thing with the Sivir.
No, you know, I think
like
that's a really.
machines.
I think that would be a really good call right now if they were able to send that Caitlyn to the mid lane. Simply because you've got that Diana, like you said, it is her power spike right now. We can throw her into the mid lane. She can be a threat all of her own, and they just got that tower in mid, so they can utilize the vision. They can send that dual lane mid. I think that would be fantastic. Let's see if they do it. We did just have the reconnect coming from Malphite, so
I would really like to see them do it. I don't know, like I don't know anything. We don't know anything about who the shot callers are on this team. Who's driving the who's driving this boat.
But we are starting the storyline of today. We are starting the, you know, this is how we find out who to keep an eye on for the rest of the tournament, because usually it's not even the team with the best player. It's the team with the best shot caller and the best synergy, the best understanding of you know, building team comps, because it doesn't have to be meta things. This isn't the absolute highest level of gameplay. You can pull out a Nasus, you can pull out a Malphite, a Leona, Cho'Gath, anything. Doesn't matter as long as you have some sort of synergy between the picks. You understand what you want to do as a team, and you've got the calls that follow up what you want to do as a team, what your comp has decided to build for.
And this Amumu has had a pretty underwhelming early game, and that hasn't really gotten any ganks to fall, but also has fallen 30 CS behind Cho'Gath in farming. Yeah. Despite still having the same, more or less the same item breakpoints, around the same gold. Yeah,
Cho'Gath gets a lot of gold too from his passive, or not, sorry, his ultimate there. Just in terms of how much health he gets very quickly as soon as he starts to hit level 6. Yeah. He picks up a lot of health, and that's really good for him because his team needs to push ahead in this mid game. See how much health he's got compared to that Amumu right now. He looks like a beast compared to that little sad mummy.
However, the little sad mummy will have a much higher impact in these 5v5 team fights, I feel.
Only if the Annie can get in there, though. I think that's, he's a facilitator, you know? Speaking of which, that is a facilitation if I've ever seen one. Eldward Bard is probably going to get picked up Nowhere to go. Tries to turn it around.
I've seen one too many Crystal Set mummies used on one person. I feel like they should be, I don't know, trying to siege the mid lane at this point. Like, stop laning
Look at
bottom.
those 3 kills on a Mumu now, though.
There's 3 kills on a Mumu.
That is a very solo queue sister type of thing. To curse with a sad mummy. And just take all those kills for yourself.
Take the red buff for yourself.
That's very, it's like very, what was that jungler's name back in the day? XJ9.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
maybe we got a little XJ9 fangirl over here.
Maybe we do.
Oh,
Maybe
speaking of
we do.
XJ9.
Ooh, nice little juke. Gets
Yeah.
the stun off anyway.
Easily could have just waited for that next auto attack.
would have liked to see that, but
A little bit of pressure, maybe a little bit of nerves feeling. Nasa's not doing as much damage as I would have expected.
well, I mean, Sheen is going for Iceborne Gauntlet. But
Yeah.
apart from that, has
That
no
is
offensive
definitely
items.
the way you play Nasus. You definitely stack up as much CDR as you can, especially if nobody's going to be punishing you, because you need to get as many stacks as you can.
Yeah, and this
that
Malphite can't be
opportunity.
like, oh no, you can't do that. The Malphite is just letting the Nasus free farm because she can't fight it.
All Nasus,
When
or
she
all,
does,
all
she gets
Malphite can do is try and
chunked
just
like
push
crazy.
the lave as quickly as possible, keep it away from the stars as quickly as possible. Another fight going down bottom. Nadar pops his ult. There's the TP coming in from Eldward Bard at the back. JX Rose trying to live, flashes out. And unless Leona is able to find something, that should be it. A great block coming out from,
Wow.
yeah, unfortunately TPing to a minion
Not a great
when there was
TP.
one right at the tower. I guess a defensive TP, you know, better safe than sorry. And, you know, it is a mistake, but it's not something that's going to be punished. And that's
It's not something
okay
that's
with
going to be
Jupiter.
punished at this point, but they could have. She could have just stayed mid, pushed that tower, pushed on the tower to try and get at least a little more damage on. I'm not sure how low that tower is at the moment, but
Yeah.
a bit of a
Oh,
miscommunication.
Nador,
on
no!
lane
She
TP.
finds herself in an awkward situation. She has her flash. Is she going to use it? It looks like the
It's
team
all
will
right
just
by the
back
looks of
out
it.
because they see Cho'Gath in the
Cho'Gath
Dragon
is so
Pit.
tanky. Look at that. That's 23 minutes. and
Yeah,
he's got
a Roa.
almost 4,000 HP.
Yeah.
Crazy. Cho'Gath, lads. And lasses.
Great thing about this, actually, though, is that the Amumu does do percentage health damage with his W. And it's a very strong ability, even with one point put in it. So if this
Even better
Cho'Gath
with the
is
Leander's
getting
farm.
shredded down by the Amumu, it's a pretty good counter.
We're going to go for the steal.
I would like
Her smite does more damage. Didn't go for it.
Yeah, I like the idea to not fight there. They could have tried to go for it, but there's no point. It's just a dragon.
Trading an Ocean Drake, which is only really good in the early game. We're at 25 minutes now. It's still not bad, of course, and plus it does buff up the Elder Drake later in the game. But it's
But
not the
you're playing
strongest
around
thing.
this. You're playing around this top lane right now. You
I
picked up that one tower. You're coming up on a 50 CS lead, and this is where Nasus really starts to, hit that power spike and really start to be able to just, pretty much 5-shot towers.
And yeah, and if they do try to make a play, and that's making a TP play in the bottom lane actually.
Ooh, I like this. Taking advantage of that deep ward that we saw from earlier, and Nador finally uses her flash. Good flash by Nasus, able to get the killing blow on that one as well. And Amumu is not done yet. The TP
Another
comes,
late TP.
Yeah, another late TP, exactly. It looks like there's, nobody really calling these TPs. It's kind of up to the discretion. Here comes Amumu. Well, he's got flash. He's going to go in for the back. Nope, that is the silence that is so strong for Cho'Gath. Going to deny that one. And good job by the Amumu to not go there as well, because Eldward Bard.
That would have been a
Hiding
greedy.
on the backside.
That would have been a greedy play to see if they could try and get that dive going, especially on a Cho'Gath. And there's a Malphite right there with counter engage with his ult. Caitlyn was not going to die. But overall, 1-0, and they got the TP out of Malphite.
Yep.
Which is, I would say, more impactful than the TP from Nasus.
And not a lot has really changed this game, except for the fact that Diana is becoming less and less of a threat. Annie's becoming a little bit more relevant now. She's picking up towards her Zonias, which is such an efficient item these days. Really going to help her be relevant in the next 10 or so minutes. Hello?
Misclick? Lag?
Maybe.
UK
Stop
Lucy?
points?
Yeah. Let's show this Baron who's boss.
Didn't even actually hit the Baron. I think it was like a...
I think it was some
it
fire cage,
yeah, it
which
was a
aggroed him.
bluff.
You only live because I let you.
Here we go, Alpha just dominating this lane
Oh my
still.
goodness.
But
And Iceborne Gauntlet too with the chain slows.
But here comes Eldward Bard. Unfortunately, there's no Malphite ultimate, but will it be enough? Alpha needs to find these auto attacks out to get some lifesteal. but will go down. And I think that might be a top lane tower as well, which is so good for Team Mars here. And
Sivir's letting himself get zoned off just by a Leona, and you know 3 people are in the top lane.
Yeah. Oh, Annie needs to be very careful. Eldward Bard predicts the flash, isn't going to find it. Here comes the Amumu. He's got his ultimate, is able to pick up Eldward Bard. That's 5 deaths and 5 kills for her.
Malphite.
The Tivers is going off, and there's the Amumu. He's so good against these tanks, I'm telling you.
There it is.
Doesn't want to fight against that Cho'Gath, but is able to pick up his 4th kill of the game.
That was, I mean,
Spicy.
that was spicy. That was hyphy is what that was. That was a lot of things just happened.
Good job by getting this deep vision from this Jupiter squad here. I really like to see that. They know that they've got the pressure on the top side of the map. And this is exactly, you know, you got to trade and play to what side is strong and advantageous for you. So you've got that vision on the top side now. That's great for Nasus. He can now go up in that top lane all the same. Dragon's up in a few minutes. You can play around that efficiently and effectively now that you've given that that protection to your Nasus.
I don't really like the static shiv that Sivir's built. Just because, I don't know. I feel like you have so much wave clear already innately in the kit, and Phantom Dancer is so strong right now, and especially considering how much dive and jump they have on you with the Diana, the Leona, and the Malphite. It just would be a better investment in my opinion. But you know, that's just me.
Sometimes you just got YOLO.
Plus it bounces.
It's
You
true.
can chain, you get so many damage reduction procs, whatever. I feel like it, I'm pretty sure it.
All right, so we
It
got
works
Dragon in
that
about
way.
2 minutes. It's going to be the next focus here. Let's take stock in terms of items. Who's got the power spike advantage? Oh, again, Eldward Bard. So aggressive
So
for a ward.
greedy.
Oh, no.
Hey guys, I'm gonna get
It's
this
not
blue
over
ward
yet.
real quick.
It's not over yet. The Sivir ult has been popped, and Nador was going for the next ward, and she's going to be next on the menu.
Well, that went poorly
0 to 100 real quick.
for yeah.
Yeah, Eldward Bard getting a little
That's
bit
that-
too confident.
Yeah, going for a greedy build. Looks like building the Rabadons next.
Yeah.
Feeling like they have, one, that she has enough pen in the Abyssal Scepter, and 2, that she has enough mechanical ability to stay alive in these fights without Azanya's. It's very greedy. And it's not going great for her. 6 of her team's 11 deaths.
But 5 of her team's 7 kills.
That's true.
Looking for that hard carry build, but if that's going to play off, or work off, pay off, work out, pay off. At the end of the day, if it's going to work,
Were you just
You need to
busting
be-
sick rhymes
yeah, I was
on this
freestyling a
stream
little
right
bit
now?
there.
You're freestyling?
Yeah.
Could use some work.
Thanks.
Lots of potential.
Same. If she's gonna make that work out, at the end of the day, she's gonna need to put in a little bit more thought into her plays, because you know it's gonna
Diana
be about
does, yeah.
finding. Yeah, Diana needs to put a little bit more thought into those plays. It's gonna be about
Agreed.
working her way around the team as opposed to just going straight through, because not having that zone means there's no time for her team to back her up. Even though they've got the Leona, they've got the Malphite, she needs to find her way into the backline somehow.
That's the thing with playing these melee range assassins, that you have to get a flank to be able to get on the back line, especially with as beefy a front line as Nasus and Mumu and Braum. But Braum's going to just be sitting on the Sivir, or most likely just going to be sitting on the Sivir, ideally sitting on the Sivir and just sitting on the Sivir. Have I said sitting on the Sivir enough? I want to say it again.
Do you
Sitting
want
on
me
the
to
Sivir.
beatbox for you, and you can say it a few more times?
Ideally, Braum will be peeling the Sivir, because there's so much dive for her anyway.
Speaking of
Son of
healing
a moon.
things, they've started on this dragon.
I thought you were going to say
I was going to say something about yeah, but here we go. Diana! Oh! Almost stolen by Leona. JX Rose comes in to protect her 80 carry. Like you said, Lucy Star so deep in the backline, but there's not enough damage. Sivir melting everything here. And there's going to go down the Cho'Gath as well. Not even a single kill for the
5
side of Mars.
for nothing. And that was all over a Cloud Drake?
Yeah,
Guys, Cloud Drake doesn't do a whole lot for you. It's not bad. Like, I won't say any of the dragons are bad. If that was like a Mountain Drake, then maybe I could justify that.
The thing is, they were getting all of the dragons earlier. They had at least a lot of, they're starting the dragons earlier. That seemed like they wanted to play around that. They wanted to play around the mid game, and unfortunately, it's not really the mid game anymore. And you've got a very strong Sivir, a very strong Annie.
Yeah, the Sivir
and if you're not finding a good engage, you're just going to get melted by that CC.
Sivir, I feel like he's just better than Caitlyn at most points in the game, if not all points in the game, because she provides all that
Shots
utility.
fired.
Sure, I'm cool with that. She provides all that utility with the ultimate, as well as just so much AoE damage from all her abilities.
Yeah, it's true.
I like Caitlyn too.
Sivir's super strong right now.
I love Caitlyn as well. But the thing is, Caitlyn's on 3 items, Sivir's on 2 items.
Yeah. It's
and
especially
just got 5
spicy
up.
that Sivir is super strong in this style of scenario.
In the style of scenario,
Yeah,
as
style
in
and
the sort
scenario.
of just run at you comp.
Yeah. It's just the press R comp. Okay.
It's pretty dunzo.
Well, it's great
I
jobs
would've-
coming out from Jupiter, no doubt about it.
I would have liked to see like an Ezreal or something.
You just like seeing Ezreals? Or?
I like seeing Ezreal, sure, but Ezreal has so much kite potential. And when it's an Amumu who's going to run at you, a Nasus who's going to run at you, and a Braum who's going to run at you, and an Annie who's going to run and flash at you.
Especially when you picked out Leona, like you said, you need a little bit of disengage to follow up with your team as well. And having an IBG Ezreal is really real.
IBG?
IBG Iceborne Gauntlet.
Okay, gotcha.
Keep up with my sick flow, all right, bro?
I'm sorry. I'm not hip enough for you.
Yeah, no.
They say the
It's okay.
desert
You
is
gotta
a
have
cruel
good cop, bad cop here. Except this time around, it's hip guy, not hip guy. Oh my god, Eldward Bard again on the edge of danger. Hanging around the cliff.
There's a serrated Dirk on Nasus. What's that going to be?
What did you just call me? Check yourself, homie.
Gotta relax, dude.
Check yourself, homie.
You gotta chill.
Serrated Dirk. God. You're a serrated Dirk.
What do you think that's getting built into?
Ma? I honestly have no idea.
I mean, it builds into what? 3 items: Mob Malmortius, Dustblade, and
Dustblade Nasus.
Dustblade is a bad item.
That sounds
It's
good
just
to
so
me.
much money for so few
It's
stats.
actually not that terrible. Maybe if he went like
Dustblade on Nasus, I would not.
Yo,
agree
no,
with.
if he
I
gets
would
enough stacks and he can like one-shot like Caitlyn.
He could probably one-shot Caitlyn. Or
Yeah.
she could probably come one-shot Caitlyn in her third stage.
That's super funny.
To be frank.
Super funny. All right.
If that becomes a Dustblade, I will shake your hand and commend you on, on predicting that.
Let's be real. This game's not over.
This
Look
game
at
is definitely not
Look
over.
at this rotational play from Jupiter. They've started to push in towards the mid lane as Jupiter starts to push towards the Baron, which is a great play. However, they're sending 2 people bottom now. And this could open up an engage. Coming out
Nasus
from
TP
Jupiter,
play.
he finds it on Caitlyn. She gets ulted, she gets flashed, and that leaves Eldward Bard actually to just turn around on the backline. They went too hard, they left player AD carry alone. Here comes the ultimate coming out onto Panoply, and she's going to go down. So they're going to trade that 1-for-1 so far, and that's going to be the second incredibly late TP coming out from Malphite.
Oh, wow. Annie.
Yeah, Annie fighting against Eldward Bard, getting very low, gonna back on out.
Annie
Lucy
could try and
Star.
cancel the recall, because that's super greedy.
Oh, Lucy Star actually biding
That's a
so
dead
much
match.
time. She does go down eventually. Annie's still trying to pick this fight. Let's take a look. It's super close.
Annie's so low. One
Look
Q,
at
she's
the
dead.
Tabbers. Look at the Tibbers. Look at the Tabbers.
Go, Tibbers.
Go Tabbers.
Have
I would love
you
to see
seen my
an
bear?
R onto the Tibbers, a QR onto the Tibbers, into an E on the Annie, or another R on the Annie. But, goodness, that was very erratic and spicy.
That's the way that Mars has to
Oh, yeah.
win these team fights.
I
They
wish
got
we
the
had a
flank
replay,
with
yeah.
the Diana onto the Sivir.
They went, it was like a weird kind of like half flank, half kind of engage where the
Yeah.
Sivir just didn't realize where the Diana was.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, let's go kill Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Instead of, oh, yeah, let's
Yeah.
clump up as a team and win the team fights the same way you've been winning them all
And
game long.
that's the benefit of that death cap. Allows you to do stuff like
Ooh, Nasus is...
woo!
Dead.
Nasus is dead, and there's the
Three-man
Cho'Gath popping off. So much damage coming from this Caitlyn. All the while, she's going to get tunneled by the Annie. She's coming in with the stun, and that's going to be Leona going down as well, and the Cho'Gath. Malphite here once again, so late. Triple kill might even be a quadra. There's the ace. Second
Picks it
time this
up.
game.
Rylai's Crystal Scepter on a Moo. That makes me feel good. I bet that makes you feel good, too.
I like it. If you finished it up with that Oh goodness, what's that?
Oh, you don't have to finish up with anything because they're going to take these 2 inhibitor towers, Nexus towers,
Yep.
and end the game.
Yeah, and we'll never know what that serrated dirt was being built into.
Oh no! I could only assume Malmortius.
Yeah, I can only assume.
There's so much
Duskblade.
magic damage on the enemy team. It makes sense.
I could only assume Duskblade.
Oh, are they not?
The
Oh, the
inhibitor
inhibitor
respawn?
respawned. Oh, they got trolled by the
The
inhibs.
inhibitor respawns? Oh my goodness.
There
Is
you
this
go.
it? Is this
Oh,
the
can they
comeback?
defend it?
Is this the
they
comeback?
defend
the
it?
triple knockup?
Oh
the
my God.
silence? Hello? Oh my goodness!
Oh, so close. Annie getting
So
that last
brutal.
auto attack off.
MVP. 50 gold.
That was almost ridiculous.